Welcome back to the channel Top Coin. Coin lovers and treasure hunters, today we are diving deep into one of the most collected and talked about coins in the modern United States minting history, the 1997 Roosevelt dime. This little 10-cent coin might look ordinary to many people who use it every day, but believe me when I say some of these dimes can be worth far more than their face value. In fact, depending on condition, rarity and unique minting errors, the humble 1997 dime could turn into a surprising treasure. So let's take a journey together exploring the background of this coin, its history, why collectors care about it, and most importantly how much it can be worth in today's market. First, let's start with the history. The dime has a long tradition in the United States. Introduced back in the late 18th century, it has gone through several designs, but since 1946 we have had the Roosevelt dime, which honors President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was remembered for leading the country during the Great Depression and World War II, and his image has been on the dime ever since because of his strong connection to the March of Dimes campaign against polio. Now, when we come to 1997, the United States Mint struck millions of Roosevelt dimes in three different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint coins do not carry a mint mark. The Denver coins carry a small D under the date, and the San Francisco coins were mostly proof coins with a special S mint mark. These proof coins were struck for collectors only and never intended for circulation, so they usually have a much shinier and mirror-like finish. But here's where things get interesting. Even though the mintage numbers were high, some coins from 1997 stand out because of their condition or because of minting errors. A coin in average circulated condition is usually worth only its face value of 10 cents, but a coin in high mint state condition, meaning one that has been preserved with no scratches, no wear, and perfect luster, can be worth far more. For example, a 1997 P Roosevelt dime graded at mint state 68 by professional grading services has sold for hundreds of dollars at auction, and certain proof coins from San Francisco, especially those with a deep cameo designation, which means they have strong frosted details against a deep mirror background, can reach values from $50 all the way to a few hundred, depending on demand. Now let's talk about minting errors. This is where things can get really exciting. Error coins are highly sought after by collectors because they are rare and unique. For the 1997 dime, there are known examples of off-center strikes where the design is not properly aligned on the coin, as well as double dies where the lettering or the date looks doubled. These kinds of errors can take a regular dime that is worth 10 cents and turn it into a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how dramatic the error is. Another factor that adds to the value is the coin's grade and certification. Collectors always look for coins that are certified by third-party grading companies such as PCGS or NGC, because those coins have been professionally authenticated and given a numeric grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. So if you have a 1997 dime lying around, check its condition. If it looks flawless and shiny, it might be worth sending to a grading service. Now let's move to the current market values. As of today, most 1997 Roosevelt dimes in circulation are still only worth 10 cents, but high-quality mint state coins with top grades can easily bring in between $50 and $200 depending on the demand. A rare proof coin from San Francisco with perfect grading can go even higher, around $200 to $400, and error coins, as mentioned earlier, could jump into the hundreds or thousands depending on how special and visible the error is. Collectors especially love complete Roosevelt dime sets, so even coins from the 1990s like the 1997 issue are in demand if they are in pristine condition. That means if you have a full roll of dimes from that year, it is worth checking carefully with a magnifying glass for errors, luster, and sharp strike detail. So the question is, could you have a fortune sitting in your pocket or piggy bank? The answer is absolutely possible, because while most coins will be common, every once in a while someone finds that special error coin or that perfect mint state example, and it ends up selling for hundreds of times its original value. The best advice for coin collectors and treasure hunters is to always pay attention to small details. Look for the mint mark, check the shine and luster, compare the coin under good light, and if you suspect you might have a gem, send it in for grading. You never know what you might discover. To wrap up, the 1997 United States dime may seem ordinary, but hidden among the millions of coins struck there are treasures waiting to be found. Whether it is a high-grade mint state coin, a special proof issue, or a dramatic minting error, the potential value of these coins can surprise anyone. So next time you get change back from the store, don't just toss those dimes aside. Take a moment to look at the date, look at the details, and who knows, you might just be holding a tiny piece of American history worth a whole lot of money. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1997 Roosevelt dime, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more videos about rare coins, currency treasures, and hidden gems. Keep collecting, keep searching, and maybe the next valuable coin discovery will be yours. Today we are going to take a deep dive into one of the smallest coins in your pocket, but one that has an incredible story and potential hidden value. We are talking about the United States 10-cent coin, also known as the dime, specifically the 2016 issue. At first glance, the dime might not seem like anything special. After all, it is small, it is light, and millions of them pass through our hands every single day. But what if I told you that some of these modern dimes are worth far more than 10 cents? And in some cases even hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on the condition, the rarity, and special mint errors. So grab your magnifying glass and let us go on this journey through history, design secrets, and market values of the 2016 United States dime. The dime has a long and fascinating history in American coinage. First introduced in 1796, it has gone through many design changes over more than 2 centuries. The current design, known as the Roosevelt dime, was first struck in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt was also connected to the March of Dimes charity campaign, which aimed to fight polio, making the dime the perfect coin to carry his image. The obverse or front of the coin features the left-facing portrait of Franklin Roosevelt along with the word liberty, the phrase "In God We Trust," and the date 2016. If you look closely under the neck of Roosevelt, you will see the initials JS. Those are the initials of the coin's designer, John Sinek, the chief engraver of the United States Mint at the time. On the reverse or back of the dime, you will find 3 symbolic images: a torch in the center representing liberty, an olive branch on the left symbolizing peace, and an oak branch on the right standing for strength and independence. Surrounding those designs are the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and the denomination 1 dime. Now, what makes the 2016 dime stand out today? We must remember that tens of millions of these coins were struck at 3 different mints: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The Philadelphia Mint coins have no mint mark, or sometimes a tiny P mint mark. The Denver Mint coins carry a D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint coins, which are usually proof issues designed for collectors, have an S mint mark. Most 2016 dimes in circulation are worth only their face value of 10 cents, but collectors and dealers are always hunting for coins in special conditions or coins with mistakes that slipped through the minting process. Those mistakes are called mint errors, and they can transform an ordinary coin into a rare treasure worth real money. For example, full band dimes from 2016 can fetch strong premiums. What does that mean? On the reverse of the coin, look at the torch. There are 2 horizontal bands wrapping around it. When the strike of the coin is strong and sharp, these bands are fully separated and detailed. Collectors call that full bands or FB designation, and those coins in mint state grades can be worth many times more than face value, especially when graded MS67 or higher by professional services. Another category of value comes from error coins. Collectors have discovered 2016 dimes with off-center strikes with double dies, where parts of the design appear doubled, and with planchette flaws. These errors are scarce and highly desirable to collectors depending on the type of error. Some examples have sold for $50, $100, or even more at auctions, but the real gems come from proof and high-grade coins struck at the San Francisco Mint. Proof dimes are made with special dies and polished planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish and incredible detail. These proof coins with deep cameo contrast can sell anywhere from $5 to $50 or more, depending on the grade and demand. And if you ever find a perfect PR70 example, you are looking at top dollar value. Now let us talk about the market today. Coin collecting has seen a rise in interest over the past few years. Many people are looking for investments in tangible assets, and coins are an exciting way to do that. The 2016 dime in regular circulation might be common, but the high-grade certified examples are in strong demand. An MS67 full bands dime from 2016 Denver, for example, can be valued at $100 to $200, while an MS68 could cross over into the several $100 range. And remember this: when a coin is certified by a top grading company such as PCGS or NGC, its value increases because collectors trust the authenticity and condition grading. So if you think you have a pristine dime from 2016, it might be worth sending it in for grading. So why should you pay attention to the dimes in your pocket? Because history teaches us that coins once thought of as ordinary can become treasures decades later. Collectors today look back at earlier Roosevelt dimes and wish they had saved more high-grade examples from circulation in the 1960s and 1970s. The same could happen with modern issues like the 2016 dime. So the next time you come across a shiny 2016 dime, do not just spend it right away. Take a close look, check the mint mark, check the strike and condition. You might be holding on to something much more valuable than 10 cents. Before we wrap up, let us do a quick summary. The Roosevelt dime design dates back to 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The 2016 issue was struck at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with millions of examples common in circulation. Most are worth face value, but rare mint errors-proof coins and high-grade full-band specimens can be worth from $50 to several $100s depending on grade and rarity. Coin collecting is about knowledge, patience, and attention to detail. Even the smallest coin in your pocket can tell a story of history and can carry hidden value waiting to be discovered. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the 2016 United States dime. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with fellow collectors, and make sure to subscribe for more fascinating coin stories and hidden treasures. And remember, the next great discovery could be sitting in your pocket right now. Today we are diving deep into the story and value of one of the most fascinating small coins in the United States, the 10-cent coin, more commonly known as the dime. Specifically, we are going to be talking about the 2020 Roosevelt dime coin from the United States of America. At first glance, many people might dismiss this little silver-colored coin as just another everyday pocket change piece, but the truth is the story behind it, the history of the dime series, and the potential value it can bring to collectors today makes it worth a second look. So stick around until the very end, because you might be holding onto a coin that is worth a lot more than just 10 cents. Let's start with a little background, because the dime has a long history in American coinage. The very first dime was authorized all the way back in the Coinage Act of 1792 and was produced in 1796. Over the years we have seen different designs such as the draped bust dimes, the capped bust, the seated Liberty, the Barber dime, and then of course the Mercury dime, which was introduced in 1916. That design by Adolph Wyman is still considered one of the most beautiful coins the mint has ever made. Then in 1946, following the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the dime was redesigned to honor him, and that is the design we still use today. Roosevelt, who led America through the Great Depression and most of World War II, became permanently linked with the dime, not only because of his leadership but also because of his personal involvement with the March of Dimes charity, which aimed to combat polio. Now fast forward all the way to the modern era and we land in 2020. The 2020 Roosevelt dime is struck in two main compositions depending on where it was minted. The circulation strikes, which you will find in your everyday change, are made out of a copper nickel-clad composition. That means the outer layers are 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. These weigh 2.27 grams and measure 17.9 millimeters across with a reeded edge. But in addition to those everyday coins, the US Mint also struck special collector versions in proof and silver proof sets, which were made from 90% silver and 10% copper. Those silver dimes are especially attractive to collectors because of their precious metal content and beautiful mirror-like finishes. The 2020 dime was struck at 3 different mints. Coins with a P mint mark were struck in Philadelphia. Coins with a D mint mark were struck in Denver. And coins with an S mint mark were struck in San Francisco. Each mint has its own role. Philadelphia and Denver handle the mass production circulation strikes that you will find in change. San Francisco mainly produces proof coins intended for collectors. Now, if you have a dime with no mint mark from 2020, it is almost certainly from Philadelphia, since the Philadelphia Mint often leaves the mint mark off circulation strikes. Now let's talk about value, because this is where things get very interesting. For a standard 2020 dime in circulated condition, its value is generally going to be face value, just 10 cents. That means if you pull one from your pocket, it usually is not worth much more than that. However, when you start talking about uncirculated coins in high grade, the value goes up dramatically. A 2020 dime graded mint state 67 or higher by PCGS or NGC can be worth several dollars and sometimes more, because top graded coins are always in demand from collectors building registry sets. But that is not all. Proof coins from 2020 can also carry premiums. A standard clad proof from the San Francisco Mint usually sells for a couple of dollars up to around 10 depending on demand. The silver proof dimes are especially collectible and can be worth significantly more because of their silver content and their limited mintage. In fact, a perfect PR70 deep cameo example can bring strong prices from serious collectors. Now here is where it gets really exciting. The real money in 2020 dimes comes from error coins and varieties. As with many modern issues, some 2020 dimes were struck with mistakes, and those mistakes can turn a 10-cent coin into a $100 or even a $1,000 coin. Collectors are on the lookout for things like off-center strikes where the design is misaligned, broad strikes where the collar fails and the coin expands wider than normal, and double die errors where parts of the design appear doubled. There are also coins with missing clad layers which reveal the pure copper underneath. These kinds of errors are rare and collectors pay big money for them. For example, some documented 2020 Roosevelt dimes with dramatic off-center strikes have sold for over $100. Others with multiple striking errors or dramatic misalignments can reach several $100s. If you happen to find a pristine high-grade example of a silver-proof dime from 2020 with a perfect cameo finish, you could also be looking at values well over $100, especially if the coin is certified by a top grading service. So when it comes to market value today in 2025, the standard circulation strikes are still worth only face value in most cases, but collectors are paying premiums for coins in the highest grades. MS-68 examples of 2020 dimes can sell anywhere from $25 to $50, and MS-69 or MS-70 coins, if found in proof silver issues, can go for even higher, sometimes $100 or more. To sum it all up, the 2020 United States dime might seem like a small ordinary coin, but it carries with it a big history tracing back to the very origins of American coinage. It represents the legacy of Franklin Roosevelt and the fight against polio. It carries on the tradition of over 200 years of dime design, and for collectors it represents a chance to own a modern coin that can be worth far more than its tiny face value. Whether it is an error coin, a silver proof, a perfect grade example, or even just a piece of history, the 2020 dime deserves more attention than it usually gets. So the next time you get change at the store, take a close look at that little 10-cent coin. You never know if you are holding onto something worth a lot of money. And that is the fun of coin collecting. Every coin has a story, and sometimes even the most ordinary looking piece can turn into an incredible treasure. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2020 Roosevelt dime, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting videos, and drop a comment below telling me if you have found any rare or unusual dimes in your own change. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your pocket change bring you treasure. Today we are diving deep into a small coin that most of us overlook every single day, the United States $1 coin, and in particular the fascinating 2005 dime that could be worth a lot more than just 10 cents if you know exactly what to look for. Now, when you hold a dime in your hand, it feels like nothing special, just a small silver-colored coin worth 10 cents in everyday transactions. But every coin has a story, and some coins carry hidden value that can shock collectors and casual finders. Let us start with the history of the dime itself. The dime has been around since 1796, when the first draped bust dimes were minted. Over the centuries, the dime design changed from the capped bust to the seated liberty, then the barber design, and finally the famous Mercury dime, which ran until 1945. After World War II, the dime design was changed to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and this design has been used from 1946 all the way to today, including the 2005 dime, the 2005 Roosevelt dime may look ordinary, but it actually holds secrets that make certain pieces very valuable. The standard dime is composed of a copper core with a nickel outer layer, giving it that silver-like appearance. Each dime weighs about 2.27 grams and measures 17.91 millimeters across. On the front or obverse, we see the portrait of Franklin Roosevelt facing left with the word Liberty above and the motto "In God We Trust" below. On the back or reverse, we see a torch representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. But what makes the 2005 dime so interesting are the variations, mint marks, and errors. This year the dimes were minted at Philadelphia and Denver with mint marks P and D, as well as proof coins from San Francisco with the S mint mark. Now, if you have a regular dime from circulation, chances are it is worth face value only 10 cents. However, coin collecting is not about the ordinary, it is about the rare and the unique. Some 2005 dimes have errors that drive their value sky high. For example, there are off-center strikes where the coin design is not fully aligned on the blank metal, resulting in a dime with part of the design missing. Another rare error is the double die variety, where letters or numbers show doubling, making them stand out to collectors even more. These errors can easily turn a 10-cent coin into a collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition and rarity. Now let us talk about condition. Coin grading plays a massive role in determining the value of a 2005 dime. If your dime is heavily circulated with scratches and wear, it will likely only be worth face value, but if you happen to find a dime in mint state condition with sharp details and luster, it can be worth much more. In fact, 2005 Roosevelt dimes graded MS-67 and above have sold for impressive prices at auction. Some of these have reached values of $50, $100, and even more just for A coin most people would overlook. Proof coins from 2005 can be even more valuable. These were specially struck for collectors with polished dies and mirror-like surfaces. The San Francisco Mint produced both clad-proof dimes and silver-proof dimes. If you have a silver-proof dime from 2005 in pristine condition, it could easily fetch several dollars or more on today's market, and if it is graded by a professional service at PR 70 Deep Cameo, the highest possible grade, the value skyrockets to hundreds of dollars. Collectors today are always searching for hidden gems in their change, and the 2005 dime is a perfect candidate. Imagine checking your pocket change and realizing that the dime you almost spent at the store is actually a rare variety worth $100 or $500. That is the thrill of coin collecting and why coins like this capture so much attention. Now let us take a closer look at the current market value of the 2005 dime. As of right now, common circulated examples are still worth just 10 cents. Uncirculated mint state examples typically range from $2 to $5. In lower grades, MS-65 coins can sell for around $10 to $20. MS-66 examples often bring $30 to $50, and MS-67 dimes have been known to sell between $100 and $200 on the very high end. If you have a perfect MS-68 example, which is extremely rare, it could sell for $500 or even more at major coin auctions. Proof coins from 2005 clad versions are worth around $2 to $4 in raw condition, while silver-proof dimes are worth around $5 to $10 depending on silver market prices. High-grade certified proof coins, especially PR 70 Deep Cameo, can bring anywhere from $50 to $150 depending on demand. So what should you do if you find a 2005 dime in your pocket change? First, do not spend it. Check the condition under good lighting. If it looks uncirculated with strong details and no scratches, consider setting it aside. Next, look for any unusual errors or doubling. A magnifying glass or coin loop can help spot small details that could make the coin valuable. If you believe the coin has special qualities, consider sending it to a grading service such as PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Coin collecting is all about discovery, and the 2005 dime proves that even modern coins can carry surprising value. Whether it is through mint errors, high grades, or proof issues, there is always something exciting to find. So next time you come across a dime, do not ignore it, because it just might be worth a small fortune. To wrap up the 2005 United States one dime coin might seem ordinary, but certain varieties and conditions make it worth far more than face value, from $2 to several $100 depending on grade and rarity. This coin is one worth paying attention to. Check your pocket change, check your coin jars, and who knows, maybe you already have a treasure hiding in plain sight. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the hidden value of the 2005 dime, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more coin collecting videos, and share this with fellow collectors. Leave a comment below if you have found any rare 2005 dimes or other special coins. I would love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and good luck hunting for treasures.